What is good, everyone? Welcome to episode 12 of the Romance Dawn podcast. I'm your host, Jagan, and joined with me is my usual co-host, Fiji. How you doing, man?
What's good, man? Just excited to have this discussion today.
For sure. Definitely going to be an interesting one. And also joining us here today, we got Rising Supernova, I am D. Keem. What's going on, brother?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. And the gist of today's episode is going to be breaking down One Piece chapter 990, as well as a topic that's been really heating up in the One Piece community, and that's who will be the next Straw Hat. There's been a lot of debate on that recently, and it's been fueled even more so because a recent statement from One Piece Magazine 10 actually confirms that Luffy's statement from the East Blue about when he planned to gather 10 men for his crew was not including himself. So we'll make sure to break down that right after the chapter review, but without further ado, let's get into it. Sasagi. So we haven't seen him in a while. Haven't seen him since he was tied up by Dendro, but it turns out that Big Mom's attack is actually the reason he was freed. So Keen, how are you feeling about Sasagi's current situation?
Yeah, it's good to see him back in action because I know like the last chapter was kind of setting up like the Tobiropo, like getting the orders to stop the Straw Hats. I feel like we were definitely getting into action. I was like, what about Sasaki, man? Still tied to a tree there, and then gets resolved here. It turns out Big Mom just tore that tree apart. Interesting comment here with the sacred tree. Don't know what that's all about.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
Yeah,
that could be something, symbolic or some sort of religious symbolism or mythology or something. We know Oda's been dabbling in a lot of that throughout the entire arc, so that could be something. I saw something about Sacred Tree being destroyed and summoning some sort of spirit. I don't know if Oda's gonna go there, but I've seen some theories floating around already about that, so it could be something interesting.
Yeah, I'm not really a theorist, but it's just like one of those things you kind of notice, and it's just like, here it is. I pointed it out. I don't really know what it means, but it could be something.
Yeah, Sacred Tree sounds interesting. I like how Sasaki says that he was tricked by a friend.
Yes.
It just shows how Kyoshiro was really like, he kept his cool and composure for 2 whole decades.
Yeah, he sold the role perfectly.
Yeah.
Bought
into it.
Yeah,
man.
So like, I don't know if they were drinking buddies or whatever. Like when would they kick it? But
Yeah.
But it is interesting because most of these Tobiropo, they don't feel like true beast pirates, right? They just feel like captains who submitted to the beast pirates.
Yeah.
They're more so just there because they have to be.
He doesn't care about Wano.
Exactly. That's what I mean, man. So it's like, it makes sense how the only thing he'd be mad about, like, he doesn't care that he's fighting for the Kozuki clan. He does not care about that. He cares more so that he was betrayed by a friend, like Fiji said.
Yeah.
So definitely an interesting dynamic there. I wonder if maybe Oda is like, because obviously we have the Scabbards, clashing off with Kaido right now. I don't know if he's going to maybe have them verge off into individual clashes or fights. Maybe Dendro will get a shot at Sasaki. I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to say, it might be setting that up, but it's like the location is he's like off to the side path right now. And Denjiro's up on the top of the dome, so I don't know if he'll get there, but maybe in the midst of all this chaos.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we also have Kaido. So we jump back to the top of the roof, and he's kind of sitting there like he's Shenron about to grant some wish. Like,
it's an epic stare down, man. It's just like an epic stare down. He's just staring at us, staring back. It's like, I feel like he's just waiting. Like he's waiting for them to get past the fodder and challenge him. So I feel like they're already gonna be knocked out or tired by the time they get to him because Jack is putting in work.
Yes,
Jack is
absolutely.
He's putting in work. I mean, no one expects him to take all the Scabbards. That's impossible.
For sure.
He's putting in work. He's probably going to be in their way because the Musketeers, they aren't doing anything to Jack. I mean, they're stabbing him. He's bleeding, but they aren't doing anything significant. Yeah, and he's just sending them flying. So,
for sure. I think this was a nice balance of power showing like the Minks kind of just bodying all the headliner or the gifters over here, but then like Jack is still doing his thing. I think that's BB and Giovanni just getting knocked out over there.
Yep. And that's what Oda's been doing, like literally the entire Wano arc. He's been emphasizing the durability, how much these guys are tanks, man. Like how many attacks these guys can actually take. It's pretty ridiculous. And then you actually see Kinemon, he's like, nah, I'm gonna make a move, but then he's stopped by Inu and Neko and Sulan, which of course Oda has to like hide from us for some reason. Like,
I was literally why we cut away again. Yeah, like, oh, here we go, and they jet, and then it's like, oh, okay.
But
not this chapter.
But I think they know that the Musketeers can't take Jack. You know, like last chapter, obviously they're like, don't worry, we'll handle this while you handle Kaido. But now they're like, like we're stepping in, we're getting revenge for Zo, we're gonna handle this. So
I think it's interesting that we're cutting away from this because the fight can't last long in the first place because they're in Sulong form. By the time we get back to this, are we like how much of the fight are we actually gonna see? I think is a question.
I feel like the fact that we cut away from it and it's silhouetted is actually a bit of a good sign, because if he showed us the Sulong then cut away from it, then it would probably be off screen. But now since we know that we are expecting to see how they look in the Sulong form, he's probably going to make that a big moment, since you know, whenever Oda silhouettes something, even though it's annoying, it still means that when we finally get it, he tends to try and make that a moment. Yeah, he tries to deliver.
For sure.
So I could see us getting like, you know, half a chapter of you know, just the Sulong Minx fighting against Jack. I don't know about a full fight. I don't think we're getting many full fights in Wano, bro. It's just too hectic and too many characters. We're just going to be getting a lot of skirmishes and clashes, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's where the anime is going to come in clutch for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's like, because if Ino and Neko are going to fight Jack, that severely weakens the Skybird's forces against Kaido, because I thought they were going to be key contributors against Kaido. But this kind of just further emphasizes that they're about to get washed, man. Like,
I like that this is happening though. I like, because it's such a textbook matchup. You know what I'm saying? Like revenge. You know, Sulong Minx.
Yeah, they had to fight each other. Yeah,
the narrative is there. The narrative is there for sure.
This is the strongest narrative for a Jack fight. I saw people throwing around Jinbe theories and a lot of other theories for who's fighting Jack, but this is easily the most clear one, and I like that Oda. Simple and
yeah, and I really do hope we get to see like the full extent of Denjiro, Ashura Doji, Kawamatsu's strength too. Like, even though it does seem like a hopeless situation against Kaido, I really hope he like lets them just, I don't know, show out a bit before the inevitable defeat.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys are powerful, man.
They're
Definitely
strong.
Even though it's Kaido, he's not gonna wash them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean they cut him, so you already know they could do some damage for sure.
Yeah,
so
exactly, yeah. So it's gonna, especially it's the power of numbers as well. There's a lot of them there, so we'll see. Hopefully it doesn't get off screen or anything. I mean, I expect to see it, but at the end of the day, I do think they're all gonna be defeated by the time the main guys pull up. By the time Luffy, Kid, Zoro, those guys, when they pull up, I think the Scabbards are all gonna be defeated.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, that makes sense for sure. So, heading inside the dome, back inside, we got King and Queen, man. And I know the Viz kind of changed this. Some of us were disappointed by King's roast here, bro. Like, it says, you were worthless from the start. And it was just so much better in the original, man. He said, like, I already had my expectations so low. Like, it was so funny.
The expectation just, it rolled off his tongue. Like, but yeah, I love this dynamic. Like, I actually love it, bro.
It's hilarious.
It's entertaining as hell. The character interactions is easily my favorite thing about this chapter. It felt like one of those chapters where not a single panel was wasted. And I'm not saying other chapters have wasted panels. Or they do. They have like gag panels. And, you know,
there's no real comedy too heavy, like any specific panels just focused in on a gag or something like that.
Yeah, so like this chapter, it felt like everything, like even this character interaction, even though it's funny, it's good character work, because it's an interaction. It tells us more about their dynamic and their relationship between King and Queen. So even though this is funny and comedic, it's still like serious in a sense, and it's not a waste. But you know, when we just see like Usopp being scared, or you know, like Sanji being perverted, sometimes you get kind of sick of that. Like, give that panel to something else.
Yeah.
So I don't mind this at all. I enjoy this.
Yeah, it's definitely refreshing. And I like how, you know, it's funny because all the Calamities roast each other for the most part, except for Jack. He doesn't really talk back to King and Queen, but you know, Queen will sometimes roast King, but you know, now he feels like he knows he fucked up. Like he didn't even try. He's like, you didn't have to say that, bro. Like, But
I feel like this definitely sets up King as like the big commander, like the capable person. How he's like giving out commands here to Tobiropo and like just figuring it all out. I like that dynamic of that.
Yeah, exactly. The Beast Pirates do have a commander system. Like there is no technically a vice captain, but King kind of he fulfills that role in a sense, right?
It's like Karakuri. It's basically like Karakuri,
like
Oak Island.
Yep, in the
Karakuri,
wedding.
obviously, he's not a right hand or a vice captain. He's not a vice captain like, you know.
He's not a first mate. Yeah, he's not a first mate.
He's
exactly.
not a first mate, but he's still the big brother they all look up to.
Yes. At the end of the day, they're gonna follow him.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If Big Mom's out for the count, you know, Katakuri is stepping up. that's how it is. But yeah, what do you think about what Hawkins said here?
Oof.
Oh, Hawkins. I mean, that could be anybody. That like I have no. It could be like I was saying, Law. Like, is this like foreshadowing a tragedy coming? Maybe he's talking about Drake, tying in with like the whole theme of Drake in here. If he's really gonna go out there and talk about like Luffy and Zoro, I don't think so, because last time was like 16%, right?
Yeah,
so, like,
I think it was 19.
Yeah, something like that. But like, if he wants to go the whole like against the odds, against all odds route, it could be that way. I don't know. It definitely has to be like referring to like a supernova or like a pirate. He's not gonna be like, oh, let me see what Kinemon's up to or something like that.
Right. It's definitely not Kaido as well, because if it was Kaido, Hawkins would have switched sides.
Yeah, exactly. That would make no sense.
That would be like a wild one.
Yeah, it can't be Kaido. It can't be Kaido. To me, I'm pretty sold it's Drake, because especially reading the viz, it seems like he's talking about him, because he's like, it's just funny. He's like 1% the chances of a certain man surviving until tomorrow.
Sucks to be him.
so I feel like it's Oda's way of saying, yeah, it's Drake, and it's just kind of like a funny moment. But it could be someone else. Could be a little mystery. But you know, it's a topic. It's kind of hard to say.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to dissect these. So I do agree that like the dialogue, the little before he reveals the big twist later with Queen and Who's Who and teaming up, but just like little things here, it's like, you're urging me to turn to traitor, like kind of saying like Hawkins already knows you're traitor, he snitches later, like the little subtle things I really enjoyed in the
You also have Keen say that this is the biggest disaster in the history of Onigashima. And it also makes me think back to what Marco said when he's like, oh, they're calling this Onigashima now. Like, it just makes me very intrigued to find out the history of how it actually became Onigashima. We'll probably find out during Kaido's backstory, maybe, if it like relates back to his like, I don't know, his race or whatever. Because people speculate he's an Oni. Yeah. So
for sure.
There's a lot of possibilities
there. Yep. On Hazard stuff, the Ancient Giant stuff, it's all slowly getting sprinkled in. But once I'm excited to find that all out for sure. Yep.
And then Keen obviously cancels the Toby Robo search, right? Like, they are not going to have the opportunity to face an all-star given these circumstances. And we see Ulti in page 1 again. Apparently, Yamato just escaped up the wall.
Like, just like peaced out.
Like that was interesting. How are you guys feeling about the Pei and Ulti dynamic still? You guys still think it's kind of refreshing, or are you guys getting kind of over it?
It's entertaining as hell.
I like it.
Yeah, it's a nice dynamic. It's nice characterization, right? I feel like when the Toby Roppo were first introduced, Ulti right away had that like personality. I think a lot of people were more drawn towards Black Maria's design, but since then, like, she's had so little screen time compared to Ulti, where it's like she's shown up so much personality. It's just nice to see. It's all the characterizations is good to add depth.
Definitely. And then you also see, we just talked about the Who's Who situation with Drake and how he kind of, I guess, convinced Drake to come with him to fight Queen, but Drake was kind of reluctant. I don't know. Do you guys think it's kind of weird how Drake would be so willing to follow him with so little convincing?
I don't know if he like willingly went there, or it's like a kind of nonchalant. It's like, hey, come along with me. We'll just take a stroll or something. Maybe it wasn't quite like he went there on his own, because he did say he doesn't want to get involved.
Exactly. Yeah. And then go ahead, Fiji.
I feel like in general though, like, Drake's been a part of the crew for 2 years. I don't think he has a reason to
suspect him,
not trust him, suspect him. I don't think he has a reason to, so he probably just went along, probably thought he was just gonna watch a fight between Who's Who and Queen.
The dialogue here is also so good too, because Who's Who never says he wants to kill Queen. He just continues to refer as the man I want to kill, and like here saying like having him around only drags us down. He's referring to X Drake, talking to X Drake, like. It's really well written. Yeah,
it's very interesting. Who's Who's character is definitely someone I want to see more of, because the way he was introduced, like kind of how we just talked about with Sasagi early in this chapter, they are ex-captains. They're ambitious. They want to climb the ranks of the organization, which is a meritocracy, based on strength. And you don't think they would actually care for like the Beast Pirates, really. They just kind of are looking out for their best interest themselves.
For the positions, right? Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe Who's Who just wanted to gain some favor with Queen by turning in Drake, so he could maybe eventually get the matchup with the Calamity later. I don't know if he wants to do it the honorable way, or if he actually hates someone, you know.
I think it's still very possible that he does hate Queen, but it's a thing where he just values getting rid of the traitor over fighting Queen. So he chose to work with Queen for the meantime, because that stare down they had like 7 or 8 chapters ago, that felt real.
It did.
Unless that was all just set up for this moment, it could have been. It could have just been set up for this moment. So I guess more interactions between Queen and who should clear this up. But for now, I'm saying it could go either way. It can either just be all a part of the act, or it could just be that who's who puts he gave precedence to the Drake situation.
Yeah, and he also had some hostility towards King too. Like you could feel the tension in that conversation as well.
When they first got called to King.
Exactly. So I definitely think Who's Who truly wants to climb the ranks of the organization, but it might not be a personal vendetta like we expected.
I'm like, I don't know if we're gonna get this. I definitely want to see a little bit of background on all the Toby Roppo and like how they ended up joining Kaido's crew. Are they here because what is their mission? Because it looks like at the very least, if he's either trying to gain some favor or like actually cares about the pirate crew in general, maybe he's trying to get on Kaido's good side. Like he just doesn't feel like it's for the greater good of the pirate crew as a whole. Is that a belief in just like the Beast Pirates not losing, or is he like actually care about this joining the crew? Like there's a lot of history there for sure, and we saw like he had his own crew within the crew. Like there's definitely a lot of past that could be explored.
Definitely. So moving down to the performance floor, and we see numbers, we see gifters, we see samurai all clashing. Of course, Fukurokujo and Hote are there. And here we go, man. Here we go. Fukurokujo walks off to the side, looking like he's intrigued by something, man.
Sneaky little panel there.
Very subtle panel there. What do we think, guys? Is it Orochi? Like, what's your first thoughts, man?
I don't think Orochi and Kanjuro are dead. So
okay.
So I think it's heading that way. I think this is like, I always say they're gonna bring them back like when we've completely forgotten about them. We're amidst all this chaos. I think sneaking these 2 little panels here in terms with all this action surrounding it is him just throwing in a little bit of foreshadowing, so it kind of makes sense a little bit on more so later on when it finally gets revealed.
For me, I'd say I think Kanjuro is alive. When it comes to Orochi, I'm still pretty sold that he's dead, because I feel like that death moment was just very good. So I feel like bringing him back, I don't know what it would do for the story. I mean, we've spoken about this before on the podcast, but I think it's possible. I think this panel definitely has made me think it's possible that Orochi is alive, or Fukurokujo could just be ducking.
He could be.
Yeah, like I'm not sure. It's kind of hard to say right now. I just feel like the reason why I struggle to see it being Orochi is because I just don't know what narrative purpose he serves if he's brought back, because he doesn't have Kaido backing him anymore. So he's not a threat, or he doesn't matter to the samurai anymore, because he's basically nobody. Other than like personal grudges with Hiyori and stuff, I don't really see like the narrative significance. I feel like the most important thing when it comes to saving Wano is taking care of Kaido. That's all that really matters right now. But I could see him being brought back for the purpose of like the Hiyori stuff. I could see that. I just like the subversion so much.
It'd definitely be more personal stuff, like just like the bad stuff he did to kind of get the country into the first place. Obviously Kaido's the one in control of it at the end of the day. That's who you have to take down. But if he comes back, it would just more so be like a satisfactory thing, I feel like, for the samurai.
Right, exactly.
It's just kill him by their own hand.
Yeah, more of a satisfactory conclusion, because like Fiji said, there is no real he has no impact as an antagonistic force anymore without the backing of Kaido. But I'm actually kind of leaning more towards Kanjuro Fiji instead, because we kind of saw how the ink clones work, and I just don't see how the scabbards could slip up in that situation when he's laying right there. It appeared to be blood on the floor. Because we at least have kind of seen how the ink clones work when there is a fake out. But with Orochi, there's speculation about his mythical zone abilities giving him somehow, which I mean, to be fair, it doesn't logically seem to make sense, but we don't have an explanation yet, so he could pull something out of the hat,
Oda could justify the Orochi one more than the Kanjuro one.
Exactly.
I just feel like the Kanjuro one is so anticlimactic that I want him to be alive.
Off panel,
Yeah, like I I want Kanjuro to be alive for the sake of like writing wise, whereas Orochi, even though it's very justifiable for him to come back, I feel like he served his purpose so well, and having his entire purpose as a character be a subversion and that Kaido was using him, it just does wonders for Kaido as a character, and it's such a cool scene. Because bro, everyone reading that chapter did not see that coming.
Yeah, for sure. Nobody. Yeah, exactly. Great. I like the twist, like you said. It fits the themes of betrayal that have been so prominent throughout the entire Wano arc. And I guess kind of like Keen said, I would like to see the proper conclusion, the proper like justification for what he's done at the hands of all the samurai. But I don't think, his role is going to be big. I don't want him to do anything big. I just want him to kind of just be put down by the samurai. Yeah. If that makes sense. That's kind of really all I'm hoping for. But
yeah, for me, he comes back just to get killed again. Like, it's worse.
Exactly, man. Okay, so moving on back to the Straw Hats spread. We had them looking all fresh at the end of last chapter, and the numbers start to come down, and we see the monster trio of Zoro, Jinbe, and Luffy.
Hey. It is like the third time now.
Yeah, it is. I don't know if that's I don't know if that's more of just like a matchup thing, since Jinbe he's probably physically stronger than Sanji.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just a better matchup. What do you guys think?
I do think Jinbe is stronger than Sanji right now.
Like overall. Okay.
Like overall power, I do think he's stronger than him right now currently in the story. But I feel like the dynamic is always just gonna be Luffy, Zoro, Sanji.
Yeah.
I do think that's just gonna be the dynamic. But I'm gonna enjoy this for now. I'm gonna enjoy this for now. The more Oda does this, the happier I am. I don't mind, bro. It fuels the slander, so we out here.
And even if you're correct about Jinbe being stronger at this moment in time, like that's not gonna stay.
Yeah, it is obviously
potential. Yeah, that's not gonna last. Yeah, exactly. Even if it is the case, that's not gonna last for. I don't even think post Wano is still gonna be the case, to be honest.
Yeah, so, probably not. But I do like the scene. Zoro just effortlessly slashes that club. Jinbe stops it, and it's a cool reflection, right? They look back on oars, because these are literally oar-sized enemies, and back in the day, it took the entire crew and some luck to defeat just one of them. Sure. But now Zoro's casually doing this. Jinbe's casually doing this. It's cool to see. It's cool to look back and reflect on the growth. It's always cool to see something like that.
Yeah, Frankie last chapter just blasted one out of there. So
we've come a long way, basically. Yeah, we've come a very long way. The fact that Zoro, no name Slice, can do this, and he was going full force and he couldn't barely do a thing to us. It's just
I'll even argue these are stronger because it's not like a big zombified frozen version.
Right. True. Very true.
Yeah.
And it had it had the shadow of a pre-time skip Luffy. So definitely a plausible argument. We see Luffy going to Gear 4th, but then it cuts back to the
Wisdom King.
Yeah, we could dive straight into that if you guys want. What do you guys think of that? That's pretty interesting.
It got changed for the Viz.
Yeah, it's a guardian deity now.
Okay, guardian deity. Okay.
Yeah, but I think it's the reason why I really like this is because Zoro's form, Ashura, is Buddhist symbolism.
Yes.
This Wisdom King is Buddhist symbolism as well.
Right.
And, they're my favorite duo, top two characters in the series, so it's kind of nice to see them tied together in that way. I don't know where it's going. I mean, I've done some wiki searches, but I haven't really fully understood it yet. So I'm gonna keep researching what this Wisdom King is. Right now, it's the fact that Hyogoro's mentioning it. It's definitely gonna come up again. I don't think it comes up for no reason, or even if it doesn't come up again, it has some sort of narrative purpose. The fact that he's bringing it up, maybe the Wisdom King is famed for something that's like I don't know, but it's mentioned for a reason, something like this, because it was given a lot of emphasis. Even if you look at the panel.
Yeah, I feel like not looking too deep into it. It's just like Luffy by the end of this arc is gonna be like this godly figure in Wano. I feel like, the aura he gives off, like Hyogoro saying a chapter ago, like they feel like he can't lose. That's just the vibe of Luffy, him drawing people towards him all the time, and now he's floating through the air, going towards these two demonic monsters in like this Buddha-like form. It's just a very symbolic picture, and like Hyogoro just narrates it kind of, I think.
Yeah, and exactly what you said, Keen, also can relate to Zoro, because throughout the Wano arc, people have been commenting on his aura, like I
think he's gonna get a big moment like that too, for sure.
So it could very well be that Luffy and Zoro are looked at as gods by the end of this arc, like historical figures in the Wano country. They were the ones on the cover of the Shonen Jump cover against Kaido. Two what is it? Two pirates will kill the demons or whatever. Is that what it said?
Yeah.
Oda's given these two characters the armament hockey training of the arc. Like, they're the only ones with actual training in armament hockey. So, I don't know. It's definitely some cool observations there.
Yeah, I always said that Zoro needs a big moment in Wano to get that reputation.
For sure,
Because like he's trying to become the world's greatest swordsman. If he has a whole set, like the Wano country, like looking up to him as like one of the greatest swordsmen in the world currently, that's gonna do so much for his rep.
Definitely. You know, like the One Piece Magazine 6 did say that there might be a second coming of Ryuma, and that can only mean one character. So hopefully he can accomplish something that lives up to that potential. Yeah, you know where me and Fiji stand on this. You know, that's kind of our thing.
Amen.
I don't know if it's gonna be that. What is your like? Hold on, I know you guys think he's gonna kill Kaido. Do you think that's his main fight, or is he gonna fight anybody else?
So that's the thing I'm most confident on because of like the amount of things we found, like hints and whatnot, you know, from what we've seen. That's the thing I'm most confident in this arc. I could see King happening too, but I'm nowhere near as confident.
Exactly.
So, King is like a 70% for me right now. The King fight, just because he's it just seems like it's gonna happen, right? The second strongest on the opponent's side, swordsman. It falls with that pattern. I could see it happening, but then again, it's just nowhere near as concrete as the Kaido theory.
Exactly. I'm of the same stance. I used to think King was more likely than Kaido, but my position's kind of changed because King, from a technical and structural standpoint, is more likely because he fits the criteria of what Zoro usually does in an arc, right? Fighting the second strongest, fighting a swordsman, right? But Wano is kind of different because Zoro has had more narrative importance. He's had more build-up with things, especially relating to Kaido, that are, you know, some of the stuff is very subtle. So I'm banking more on him having a big impact in the Kaido fight than fighting King. I still do think both can happen, as wild as that sounds, because, you know, most of us think this raid is going to end in one night, and the amount of endurance that would take would be wild. You know, so I'm not like.
I mean, I think it's very possible though. I think because I'm not like when we say kill Kaido, people always hear that statement and immediately think, oh my god, like it's
gonna solo him or something.
Exactly.
Hell no, like,
like a boss.
Absolutely not.
Nobody is suggesting that. Kaido was already fighting the scabbards, which are gonna wear him down. Then there's gonna be a group battle consisting of Luffy, Kid, and multiple people. I'm just saying that I think
the final blow.
The final blow, just for a lot of, you know, thematic reasonings, I just feel like he's gonna behead him, slay the dragon, kind of thing. I feel that. Yeah, I think having King and doing that, like, it would kind of mirror Thriller Bark, how he fought Ryuma and then joined the group fight with Oz.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said in my video. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So but at the end of the day, with the, you know, King fight, I'm not too solid on that anymore. I used to be 100%, but, you know, lately I've just been thinking.
Me too.
Bro,
yeah, me too.
I don't know if we're even gonna get that many 1v1 fights, man. I feel like this is just gonna be hectic, all over the place, Marineford style.
Yep. Very.
Makes sense.
Yeah, because, you know, Wano is already long enough to fully flesh out one-on-ones would take a long time.
Yeah.
You know,
definitely going to be a lot of skirmishes, though.
Right,
especially
definitely.
with the Toby Ropo now all getting into action. The Straw Hats are all in one place. A lot of tag team battles I'm expecting.
For sure.
Yeah.
So I guess we can head back to, you know, the Drake and Queen scene. You let Trafalgar Law escape, didn't you? So Drake got caught slipping. How are we feeling about that?
Bro, this is a very good plot twist. In my live reaction, when I saw the Who's Who panel saying we're going to Queen, I was like, yo, let's fucking go. I fully believe it. And then we get to the page. I see Drake on the floor bleeding. I'm like, huh?
Whoa.
What happened? It was a brilliant twist. Very good twist. Drake got done dirty, bro. But the thing is, right, I'm reading the viz and it's different from the scans. In the viz it says, we had someone watching. So it turns out Hawkins didn't snitch. Someone caught Drake letting Law escape. So it's I still think Hawkins is a bit of a snitch because he would have snitched anyway, in my opinion, just looking at him in this scene. Like, he would have snitched anyway, but they had someone watching.
Remember the Kaido scene? He's like, Kaido-sama, they're over there. Like, Hawkins has been giving snitch vibes the whole entire, like, arc, man. It's kind of funny.
That was a terrible alliance. Like, Apu betrayed him before they even started the alliance, and Hawkins is just ready to snitch as soon as the percentages go down.
Yeah,
this is my thing, though.
Nobody's real like Kid, bro. Slander Kid all you want, but he's a real one, man. Like, I don't care.
Yeah. That's one of my main reasons why I really like Kid. But yeah, I feel like there has to be a reason for this, man. Hawkins is being way too loyal. Like, it's kind of weird how loyal he's being to Kaido. Like, Act 1, chasing down Luffy, Law, and Zoro.
Is it though,
2,
bro? Like,
I feel like he's tarot card 100%. Like, as long as it's under 50, I'm not going with it.
Yeah, Fiji. I was just about to say something like that. Like, I think he's just so by the book, so fucking like committed to his probability that he'll just stick by it no matter what. That's kind of how I've interpreted
maybe
it.
Get a flashback of his childhood, like somebody died, like because he didn't listen to cars or something like that. To like explain it, but
that'd be hilarious, man. Imagine that. Okay, so we get an explosion. I couldn't personally tell what that was. Was that the number breaking that down, or like who caused that explosion for Drake to escape?
Yeah, I was like, maybe he had bombs or something, but it kind of just happened, right?
Right, exactly. I don't know, but obviously that sets up the Drake and Luffy side by side taking out the number. Excalibur.
That was clean.
That was pretty dope. That was
clean.
And of course he has his like internal dialogue of like, where do I go?
Yeah,
where do I go?
The monologue was probably my favorite thing about this whole scene. Well, that and the Kobe reference. The Kobe reference is amazing, but it's like you can
he's
see
like
the
panicking.
struggle, man.
Yeah, he's like, what do I do?
But then he goes, I still have hope that like, bro, the scans was so much better, bro. He says,
way
hope
better,
is not
way
lost.
better.
That just hits so much more to me. But yeah, I mean, I like the viz, of course. It gives us more accurate translations, but sometimes the scans just feel a lot more natural and they just hit. But yeah, we just get this awesome spread, man.
Yeah, bro. Luffy's probably like, what the hell's going on, man? First
he's gonna say yes, though.
Like, so,
he's
yeah.
gonna
gonna say yes.
I hope he does kind of like confront him somewhat, though. Because
maybe a little bit. He did just let like Yamato follow.
Yeah, exactly.
Momonosuke.
Why are all these people? Why are all these people joining me?
The thing is, he did destroy Amigasa village, like Otama's village, and if Luffy remembers that. If Luffy remembers that, I think that would be cool, because Luffy went batshit crazy just for seeing people waste food. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So seeing him like kind of react to that would be dope, but like having Luffy like kind of like swallow his, or like force his composure and just because Luffy's a great judge of character, right? So he'll be able to tell. He's a very good judge of character, so he'll be able to tell that Drake is on their side just from looking at his face.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a weird situation, but I do want him to mention it at the very least. I don't want him to have forgotten that Drake done that to Amigasa village. I hope that's brought up next chapter.
I feel that. What do you guys think Drake's like ultimate mission is? I think they took it out of the Viz translation, but I remember in the scans he says my mission is not over yet or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, what is his ultimate goal of like joining Kaido here? Is it just to get information?
Yeah, you think so? Just because they're closed off.
Or is there something deeper? Like,
yeah, I don't know. They are closed off from the world government. Go ahead, Fiji.
We all kind of agree that Aofiji is most likely sword, right?
Yeah.
Like there's that. That's a very strong possibility, right? So, Aokiji's in the Blackbeard pirates. We got Drake in the Kaido pirate. Maybe it's like kind of like keeping tabs on Yonko. That's what Sword are doing, or maybe they have individual missions. I'm not too sure. I feel like it could be something amazing, but right now it's kind of hard to tell. Maybe something to do with CP0, because people keep forgetting about them, but they should be here right now. True. They should be somewhere on Wano right now. So it's hard to tell. Very hard to tell.
Yeah, it's a lot of mysteries.
Yeah.
For sure.
You got the samurai reacting, saying, "Why did he attack the giant? What's he doing?" he took out the giant. Have y'all seen the theories flying around? Drake got axes, so he's
the scoffer Gavin, man. Like, it's such a reach, bro. That's ridiculous, dude.
That's a good segue into the next discussion of this podcast.
Very true. Very true.
Drake for Nakama. I'm on that train, bro. He's X Drake. X is the Roman numeral for 10. 10th member to join. Come on.
That's wild, bro.
We do know his little backstory. He had a deadbeat dad and everything. There's your sad backstory.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, there you go.
Come on. And his dream, he's got his ultimate mission. Checks all the boxes, man.
Okay. All right. So I guess let's get into that. One Piece Magazine 10, obviously confirming that Luffy's statement did not include himself in the 10 men statement. So, this topic has already been kind of hot in the community, but this just sparked it even further. And I know, Keen, I think we kind of disagree on this. You don't think Momonosuke would be a good candidate. I think you lean more towards Yamato, Carrot. Like, what's your stance?
Yeah, I lean towards, I think the most likely one, just as far as likeliness, is Carrot. Yamato, it's just too early to tell, and I know there's good arguments against that as well, for sure. I think there's just a lot of potential with Yamato. That's why, like, it's a very exciting candidate.
Yeah.
Momonosuke, I know there's a lot of reasons there. We could get to do a little debate about that, but I just don't feel like it fits. I just, like, storytelling wise, I think I just see opposite.
Okay. Yeah. So for me, I guess I'll address Yamato first. Obviously, there's still so much time left in Wano. We don't know the full extent of Yamato. I'm gonna be gender neutral here. We don't know the full extent of Yamato's character, right? We don't know the absolute goal here, but it seems kind of basic as of right now. Like, just wants to go out to sea. Doesn't really have a point of accomplishment that we can have in the story the way the other Straw Hats do. Like Zoro defeating Mihawk, that is the point of accomplishment, right? He becomes the world's strongest. You know, Usopp, I guess it's kind of ambiguous as well when he becomes a brave warrior of the sea. But as of right now, from an ambition standpoint, I can't see Yamato joining, and I also don't see a technical aspect of her joining when it comes to sailing, besides being a secondary combatant. What do you guys think of that?
I feel like Oda. I agree with everything you just said, and I feel like Oda's kind of dangling it in our faces a little too much. Like, it feels a bit forced. She was like, immediately, I'm gonna join you. Someone she just met. Right. Yeah, I'm getting on that ship with you.
Yeah, that usually never happens.
Immediately.
Exactly.
She just met somebody, so it's kind of like, I mean, I get it, but it's you know, if we enter a Yamato flashback that explores her past with Ace, then I could see it as a possibility. If she gets a flashback and some more character work, I need to be gentle. If they,
I'm gonna refer to her as she, her. So
yeah, it's very
it's too much weird. Messing around. I've committed to the she, hers already.
Yeah, it's annoying, man.
Yeah.
And because here's the thing, it's like
I'm just gonna stick to she, her as well, because
whatever.
She identifies as Odin.
The author introduced Yamato as daughter of Kaido. Like, that is the author's words. So
I understand both. I understand both.
I'm gonna go with that until it's more explicitly confirmed by Yamato, not by somebody else, by Yamato. So whatever. Yeah. Okay, continue, Fiji.
It's a tough situation, but yeah, she's it's kind of been dangled in our faces a little too much. I feel like it's Oda's purposefully forcing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's purposefully trying to make us think it, just for it not to happen, kind of thing. So I don't know. It's possible though. There's definitely a lot going for it, man. Definitely. As for Carrot, I feel like Carrot would be cool. There's a lot going for that. Her role in the crew would be, you know, lookout. I guess that makes sense. Character design wise, she definitely fits in. The fact that she's a mink, you know, that she ticks a lot of boxes. I mean, we've got a fishman, a mink, human, a reindeer, you know. So yeah, I see the argument for Carrot too, especially with Pedro being dead and her having, you know, basically that being her sad backstory. We witnessed that in real time, her sad backstory. So I could see that. But right now I'm on the Momonosuke train.
No, we'll get to Momo in a sec, but for Yamato, mostly for her is potential. I think how you talked about backstory, I think she's definitely gonna get a backstory because she's the daughter of Kaido. Like that, I feel like we're definitely gonna get exploration on Kaido's past, and by association, Yamato's gonna get involved with that. What about that childhood? I probably will see a little bit of Ace there. As far as ambition, I feel like what she knows about that journal could be leading to something. Does she know a little bit about what the world government is up to? Like, I thought one unique way you could do is what if she finds out about some of that stuff, and now her ambition is to rid the world of corruption or something like that, and that kind of could drive you into that final arc of going against the world government. So yeah, for Yamato, it's always been just the potential of because I know she's gonna get more focus because how closely related she is to Kaido. So that's always been for Yamato, is just the potential. And you know, there is argument against it. She showed up, it's been 80 chapters into the arc, right? And like she looks exactly like Nami. Like there's
Exactly.
no argument against that.
Right.
But yeah, it's just I think people definitely gravitated towards her. Number one, female. Number two is like this unique like Oni. What is this? She has horns. Like what race is she? There's just a lot of questions. Also, she's ridiculously strong. People are gonna draw towards that like right off the bat.
For sure.
But for her it's mostly just potential. We'll have to see where it leads to as she figures herself out. She still thinks she's Odin at this point. If she keeps that up, I don't think she's gonna join the crew. That's just kind of weird.
I like how you mentioned the logbook, because
that's an important one, I think.
Because people have speculated that she could be a potential log keeper too. But then I also thought it's like, why would you introduce a log keeper of your journey? Like the journey's almost over. We're almost at Raftel, man. So it's like, I guess that's a cool position, but is that
my only problem with the logbook? I feel like that's the reason why she wouldn't join, because she knows too much.
Word. Good point. Yeah, because you know what Luffy did at Saba Odi. He's like, no, you're not telling me shit. I'm figuring out everything for myself. So he probably would reject the information that's in that logbook if presented to him.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't feel like Odin like wrote what the One Piece is, because that would be pretty like
dangerous,
like,
right?
Exactly. Now you got a One Piece in a book, essentially. I said like Yamato essentially has like side story spin-offs, like a 5-year like manga of One Piece in her hands, essentially with that logbook. So it's like a lot of information, but I feel like if you do it in a way where they had an agreement, like you don't put like exactly what it was, like when we saw the Odin flashback, he kind of just gave us glimpses, right? The ancient weapons, the world government. I learned everything about that, but he never obviously didn't tell us exactly what it was. Did he write it in his journal what it was? So if that information isn't there, I feel like it's fine that she knows more, and it might be even good that she knows certain things, like that moment we had with Shanks crying. And that last thing, like she might know that, right? And if she's on the ship as we go meet Shanks, she might be like, "Oh, Shanks, I heard about you before through the logbook. What was that moment?" Like she could like provide some context to some moments. So I feel like that information could come back and play a role.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And what was Carrot? I feel like Carrot's the most likely. Because a lot of the things just fit. The lookout is established, just that backstory. For Carrot, it just comes down to the overall shine and like spotlight. I feel like it's been kind of inconsistent. It's been a lot of people's thing. Ultimately, what's going to decide it for her, I think, is like when Peril Sparrow shows back up, are we going to get a scene there with the two of them?
I really like that.
When Carrot gets her shine. If not, maybe she just becomes like a Grand Fleet member or something else, but it's just down to that. It's down to spotlight at the end of the day for her, I think.
Yeah, I'd like to see a Sulon Carrot versus Peril Sparrow, or maybe with Brooks' help or something like that. Definitely would be a cool fight to see. Like you said, design. Carrot has a unique design, so she has that going for her. The lookout position, I mean, maybe not like super important, but it is technically an aspect of sailing.
Yeah, it's been showcased like 3 times, skip too a little bit.
Right, exactly.
And everything, it's been emphasized.
She's a very solid combatant. Usually the members that join are stronger than Usopp, Nami, and Chopper.
Yeah, a critical thing, like post-time
the dynamic.
Joining, you have to be strong,
Yeah, so it has that going for her. What else? Do you guys have any other thing to add for Carrot, Fiji?
One thing, it was I thought it was a nice if she joins, I think it's a nice contrast where you have Jinbe as the most experienced and Carrot is completely inexperienced. I think that two of them joining, that's like a nice contrast there. Also, her relationship with Chopper gives Chopper an opportunity to be a big brother kind of role. We'll see if that's just a gag or is actually character development. Right. That will be up to Oda.
Yeah, can't have Chopper getting negative diff by trees.
Hey man, that discussion yesterday was hilarious.
Oh, that was funny.
If you're watching this and you haven't already, go check JD Legends channel. Peep the Rookie Summit. Is a great little stream with the guys.
Very good stream.
And then let's segue into the main
big boy.
Let's go.
Ironic, the little boy. Momonosuke. Momonosuke. I can't disagree with your point. I actually can't, because Momonosuke in the crew, he will immediately be the weakest one.
Yeah.
He will immediately have issues when faced up against, future crews. Like when we square up with the Blackbeard pirates, what is he gonna do?
Yeah, exactly.
So
that's like the main thing is like the combative role. It's like, what the hell are you gonna do?
Yeah, like even Nami can take care of herself. Nami can take care of herself. Usopp can take care of himself. As much as it doesn't look like it, they can take care of themselves when it comes down to it. Can Momonosuke? I don't think he can, at least not from what we've seen. So I do appreciate that point, but outside of that, I feel like it's a compelling argument, man. It's the
For
apprentice.
Sure. There's a lot of points there, yeah.
The apprentice role, I think, is something that I could see us going down, because the crew, it doesn't lack that, but the fact that Roger's crew had that, Rox's crew had that, Whitebeard's crew had that, they all had apprentices, and these are the 3 greatest pirate crews in history, without a doubt. I kind of makes me think that Luffy's gonna go down the same route and get an apprentice at some point. And Momonosuke fits that as well best, I think, because he's already been characterized, he's already had moments, he's already had character development. It's easier than just introducing a new character. He's already established a bit of a dynamic with the crew. He has his gags. He feels just at home with the Straw Hats as Carrot does. Maybe more so than Carrot, because he was with us for even longer. I mean, Carrot was in Whole Cake Island, so I guess that's arguable. But you get what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah.
So I just feel like he fits in very nicely. But then again, there's that issue. that is a big issue. I'll give you that.
Yeah, it definitely is. But I guess the strong points for Momonosuke, kind of like you just said, are he has the most to gain by going to sea, right?
Yeah.
He's trying to become the Shogun of Wano. He's trying to become a great leader, somebody who is respected, and he can learn those things from the Straw Hats. The Kozuki teachings obviously ended at Odin. He can learn poneglyphs from Robin. He can continue to learn swordsmanship from Zoro. You have to be a great swordsman. Like, I don't care. You have to be a great swordsman. You have to be
the Shogun, yeah.
Yep, you have to be a great leader. He can continue to learn how to be a great leader from Luffy. So he has the most to gain. I also want to ask you guys this question. When it comes to your main cast, the Straw Hat Pirates are your main cast. And the audience needs to have an emotional attachment to them, which is why, obviously, our cast has been introduced from a long time. Jinbe, even though he didn't technically join till Whole Cake Island, he's been a prominent character since Impel Down.
Yeah.
The audience has had a long time to get used to Jinbe, to grow on Jinbe. And you can kind of make that argument for Momo in comparison to Carrot and Yamato, because Momo has been
bigger moments,
he's been introduced since Punk Hazard. He's been built up for a long time, whereas Yamato kind of just came out of nowhere in the Wano arc, kind of in the end game, you can say.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of another argument for Momonosuke too, is like more development into the crew, like you said, Fiji.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
I feel like there's definitely merit there with the whole, like, he's not ready to become Shogun, right? People are saying like Hiyori takes over. I just feel like he could still just look up to Luffy as an idol and still fulfill his role as Shogun with Hiyori and the people, the Scabbers there, helping him out. I really like the idea of him contrasting Odin, where he is constantly reminded that he's not his father, right? Not as strong as father. And it's like kind of opposite. Odin, who was in Wano the whole time, died to go out to sea, and then eventually went out to sea, and then came back and wasn't able to become the Shogun of Wano. Now you have Momonosuke, who was born out at sea. So he was out there already, and now he's coming back and doing something his father couldn't.
Great point.
I like that idea, how that story direction. As far as him learning like swordsmanship, I feel that, but at the same time, he's in a samurai country with a bunch of great swordsmen. As far as learning the poneglyphs one, I feel like it's a great point that people make, but at the same time, do we think like it's gonna be that relevant at the end of the story? Is the Void Century stuff just gonna come to light at the end of the story? If that is like true, do you really need to learn that poneglyph language? I think is a question you have to wonder. And then as far as just strength, like how do you continue with him at the end of like the story? Like
that's definitely,
we mentioned like the apprentices of like Kaido, Marco, Shanks, Buggy, but like 3 of those guys are like
monsters. Yeah, exactly.
Monsters. Even Buggy. I don't know. I might take 8-year-old Buggy over Momonosuke. Like,
you're kind of spitting. You're kind of spitting.
And then at the same time, like even like those crews were pretty stacked. Like we're talking people in their primes. These guys are like very strong and growing at a pretty insane rate, but they're still like 19, 20 years old. There's only 10 of them right now. I don't think they're really fit to like handle a liability like that. And then like at the end of the war, when we're thinking about the final villains, Blackbeard, Akainu, Imu, World Government, like what's Momonosuke gonna do
For sure.
there?
Yeah, and you know, there's a big difference between 8 years old and like 12 to 13 years old. Like,
there's a big
in One Piece, that's a huge difference.
Yeah. And Momonosuke is not Luffy, man. Luffy at 8 years old was mashing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Luffy and Sabo, like if Momonosuke was that level of
if he was strong, I'd be like, yeah, sure, come along. You can handle yourself. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, man.
And I think another question is like Zunisha. That's got to come back somehow, right? I feel like it's probably gonna show up in Wano. That could be Momo's big moment in Wano, and like that kind of like makes up for some of the lack of strength that the Straw Hats and the Lions seemingly have. Like, does Zunisha just stay at Wano at the end of the day? Like, how does that go forward?
Imagine he controls Zunisha in the final war. That'd be insane.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like,
that's insane.
I think Momo's gonna get a big moment, not just like vocally, like mostly so far, like a big moment at the end of the day. I like this idea of that big ass sword, like Zunisha just wrapping the tusk around it and swinging it. I don't know how likely that is to happen, but that would be pretty fucking fire.
That would be a wild thread, bro.
Imagine Zunisha just like pulling up to the final war, like what Jack's doing to the Minks right now, just fucking obliterating shit in his past. He's doing that, except with Minks, it's like battleships and like. And like strong ass characters, that'd be crazy.
I think Zunisha definitely is like could actually pull up to the final order. Yeah,
he did stay behind and train with it, so like there was some like built up to that.
Yeah, we just don't know what happened.
Maybe maybe Zunisha is one of the ancient weapons too, because like people are saying,
that's speculation.
Yeah, Shirohoshi controls the Sea Kings. That's Poseidon, right? So there could be something there with I don't know.
So Momonosuke is the ancient weapon.
Yeah, or who knows? Yeah.
I've seen the theories about that. Yeah.
For the record, also, I don't think anyone's joining the Straw Hats. I'm just simply making the argument for Momonosuke. Like, I don't think I don't think anyone's joining. No, I just think Momo's the most likely.
Oh, okay. So what about the promotional message and the Van magazine statement? What do you think about that?
He just doesn't want the last one.
Yeah, I just think like that's what he aimed for, but what he has now, he'll be satisfied with personally.
Okay, that makes sense. I feel like another one that not many people talk about that I think is actually very possible, just depending on where the story goes.
Don't say
Vivi.
Caribou. Okay.
No. Yeah, I've been getting a lot of comments about Caribou, bro.
Yeah,
like,
the Caribou stands are out there.
That's wild, bro.
I made a Straw Hat video, and everybody's like, "Where's Caribou?" Hold on.
Hey man, at least say someone like Caesar, bro. Like then I'll take it. You know?
The scientist of the crew. Man.
But yeah, I actually think it's Vivi is a possible one because she's already basically an honorary Straw Hat, and then you tie in what could have happened at the Reverie. She might not have an Alabasta to go back to, especially because there's the Pluton theories of Blackbeard maybe going there. There's she could be wanted by the government. Cobra might be dead. I mean, he most likely is by the way it looks. So something could have happened there, and that could bring Vivi back to the Straw Hats.
Yeah, I like Vivi a lot. Vivi is one of my favorite characters. I think Alabasta, she really shined. Her leadership too. I think she taught Luffy a lot about leadership. There's one moment on Drum Island. That's one of my favorite moments. People overlook it all the time. She's like, Luffy, you're a bad leader. You gotta kneel and like your friend's dying. Vivi, I love Vivi as a character. It's just like a question of like how she gets back to the story. Like I feel like she's definitely gonna play a bigger role because of what happened to Reverie, and we're definitely gonna get more involved with the world government soon as we get closer to Endgame. I just don't know how she ends up back with the Straw Hats. Like that's like one of the bigger things when people bring in out of box characters. Like I've had people say like, what about Bon Clay? I'm like, he's locked up in level 5.5. He's not coming back. Like,
yeah, man, that's Another thing about Vivi that supports the argument too is kind of what I said about the emotional attachment to the readers. She was introduced all the way back in Alabasta. She's, I guess, I would say somewhat of a fan favorite. She has a unique design, that blue hair.
Oh, Bro,
so
I'm pretty sure she's still kind of high on like popularity polls and stuff.
yeah.
She's doing her thing, man. She's like, a lot of people love her. She's probably one of my favorite female characters as well, after Nami and Robin.
Yeah. The question is though, just like Kane said, it's like, how do you like properly reintroduce her into the Straw Hats? I don't know.
Plus, if she comes back, you get Kaoru too. Now there's two, so you can't really. Now you got
I
11.
mean, this is the thing though. I feel like the thing with Vivi is the second she sees the crew, that's it. She's sailing with them. That's why. So it's not like there's a discussion to be made. It's not like anyone has to think about it. If she's in danger and she, sees the crew, because I feel like whatever happened in the Reverie is gonna tie into Wano somehow, right? So that could happen. That could happen. I mean, it's a very small chance, but if Vivi somehow shows up at the end of Wano, I feel like that's something that has... Because right now, the entire Reverie plotline, with what happened in 956, Oda could take that virtually anywhere. A lot of people think they know what's happening there. It could go anywhere. So, with Sabo, Vivi, what happened on the Reverie, I'm just checking everything. Like, there are so many different doors, different avenues Oda could take.
Yeah, for sure. I said this in the live stream the other day, but the in between chapters for Act 3 and Act 4, I'm just as excited for the climax of Act 3.
Absolutely.
Just to find out what's going on.
Yeah, man, I need that. Chapter 1000 is only 10 away, guys.
Hey, wow. Getting there.
Man, like, it's weird though, because if you guys think Chapter 1000 is going to be one of those away from Wano chapters, I just don't get how he would end Act 3 with the momentum he has right now, with like the combat starting, I don't know. What do you guys think?
Probably get to a point, maybe do you think it's gonna hit a tragedy in 10 chapters somehow?
Yeah, I don't know. And I know we've all researched kind of kabuki play structure a little bit. Does that tragedy happen at the climax of Act 3? Like, is that usually how it goes, or is it just like within
in the
Act
kabuki?
3?
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, it's the climax of Act 3, and then 4 is like your big war that breaks out.
Okay, that makes sense, because a lot of people were speculating that Odin dying was the tragedy, but that doesn't really make sense. Yeah, that doesn't really make sense. No, it has to be like an event in the present day, like
for sure.
I don't know if it has to be.
Really?
I don't know if it has to be, but it has to be at the end of it. Because I was thinking
it just has to peak. Yeah.
It could have been Odin's death if Act 3 ended there. That would have been a good one.
But I guess just a character dying that we already know is gonna die would seem kind of underwhelming for the tragedy. You know what I'm saying? But I get what you're saying.
Do we think Oda's actually gonna kill somebody?
Man,
I
hope so.
I do think so.
I hope so, man.
I do think so, man. Like, bro, regardless of the memes and whatnot, Oda pulled up and he dropped Ace and Whitebeard in a single arc.
Exactly.
Man. So I feel like these kind of arcs, these penultimate flipping, like, this is coming at the end of hundreds of chapters of build up and setup. Oda has been waiting years to write this.
For sure.
He's definitely got some big things up his sleeve. Definitely.
Who do you think is most likely gonna die?
I think Kinemon is one that I feel like would hit.
That's a big one.
Kinemon's one that I feel like
would
already
definitely
has death flags. Another one that I would personally like and think could be very well executed is Law, but I'm very 50-50 on it because, there's a lot of incentive for him to live, and there's also a lot of incentive for him to die, so it's kind of like 50-50. Get Chopper the hell out of here now. But,
hey, that was in the leaks, right back.
Yeah. Oh, bro, those leaks.
Bro, those leaks are crazy.
Hey, those leaks.
I don't know about Roronoa Kaido.
Roronoa Kaido.
The demon kills the demon kills the demon, bro. I'm all for it. I'm all for it, man.
But yeah, in general, I feel like it's hard. It's hard to say right now. One that would be wild, that would annoy a lot of people, would be Kid, I think, because I feel like he's got a lot of potential for the end game.
People want to see more from him.
Definitely, that would be.
He feels like the Shiki of this generation, right?
Yeah.
In a sense, I guess. Yeah.
Hype.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot more potential.
He could go out like a G though. He could.
True.
I'm just thinking of a way of him like swallowing his pride in the Kaido fight, like. I don't know. It's just a possibility thrown out there. Very small one though. To me, right now, it's between Kinemon, Law, and actually Jinbe. But Jinbe is weird because he just joined the crew.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be kind of.
I feel like Jinbe's clear now. I feel like Jinbe now, he's finally here to kill him now again.
I think another character.
Yeah.
I think another character that has potential to die is Marco. Like I could see him living, but he's kind of, I guess maybe inheriting, because obviously what Luffy did for Ace, like he did everything for Ace, you know.
He already said in Marineford at the end of it, like we putting our lives on the line for Ace's brother. So he's prepared to go there.
Yeah, and he said like the generation's gonna change, you know, like he knows like it's the next generation's turn. So
at the same time, I feel like with Marco, he might need to get involved in the next arc because that Weevil storyline has to get wrapped up somehow eventually.
That's a good point. Everything that's kind of been built up with Weevil kind of banks on him fighting Marco.
It could be a thing where Weevil just reads the paper and he's like, oh, like, I think it could be handled. I don't think it's that important. I think you could still kill him without that being like a big problem. I don't think that's a plot line that it's cool and all, but I don't think it has to be, you know, touched upon. Not every single plot thread goes the way you expect it, right? So I think that could be handled in a different way, with Weevil, with the death of Marco being the thing that kind of like makes Weevil want to go after Luffy or something, maybe. You know, he died for Luffy kind of thing. I don't know, Weevil was just a massive enigma right now.
Yeah, because you know,
he's fighting some Marines right now, last we saw him, so
yeah.
Speaking of the Marines, man, like I cannot wait to see that Shishibukai scene. Unless he off screens it, bro. Like, you better have sent an admiral at Mihawk.
Maybe in between Act 3 and Act 4, we'll get a little update.
Yeah. So, like, we got all the Yonko bounties. You think we might get all the Shichibukai in one chapter?
Definitely possible.
In one chapter, bro. That Mio bounty is gonna be ridiculous. Because that's gonna answer a lot of questions.
Yeah, for sure. That's gonna start some debates.
Yeah,
it's gonna start a lot of debates.
But
like, the Shanks and Mihawk beef is
hilarious,
crazy, and then you add the bounty on top of that.
Yeah. Man. Also, like, you know, Boa's bounty would be interesting to see.
Yeah, Boa's. Bro, I want Buggy to be over a Billy.
That's what I'm saying. I'm excited for Buggy's bounty.
Yeah, Buggy's is hype, man.
Based on story progression, he should be over $1 billion. Like, based on where we're at in the story, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, everybody's gonna be dumb high.
Yeah,
these bounties are getting high, man.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are, bro.
We don't even have Keen's bounty yet, which is kind of wild.
Nope. Yeah.
We probably won't.
I'm throwing a guess. I'm saying 1.8. That's my guess.
Yeah, I was gonna say close to 2, probably.
Yeah. I think if
it's been built up for too long.
Right.
Too long.
He's been making us wait too long. I was just about to say that. Anywhere from 1.6 is like the minimum for me. Like that's like the bare minimum.
Do you think his is gonna be higher or lower than Marco's?
A little bit lower. No. A little bit lower, in my opinion.
Lower.
Because it just fits the theme of, you know,
the Whitebeard crew.
Whitebeard had the highest of the Yonkos. So his number 2 is gonna have the highest of the Yonko commanders.
Right. Plus,
I feel like for me, Marco's 2.1 right now. But then again, that's too close to Blackbeard, maybe.
Exactly. Yeah.
I was gonna say right below Blackbeard should be.
Maybe 2 exactly. Two exactly would feel good.
That could work.
2 exactly, King 1.8, somewhere around that.
Yeah,
I'm planning to make some videos about that.
Yeah,
that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I did make one.
People love that stuff.
Yeah, it's fun because bounty it does factor into strength, but it's not the only thing. That's why it's a very interesting conversation.
Yeah,
right?
It's basically threat level.
Your threat level. You're dangerous. Yeah, you're danger. Exactly.
It's a lot more fun to talk about because it also ties into your expectations, right, for the arc, because what they accomplish is what determines the bounty.
Yeah, and that's why the Mihawk bounty argument is so crazy, because he has the individual strength, but he doesn't have the territory, doesn't have the desire to take down the world government or like involve himself in political affairs, you know. So who knows what that bounty is going to be? It could be a lot of things.
That's what's exciting, bro, because it could be 2.5.
It might come out low and people are going to slander him.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, it would be insane if it's like forced.
Yeah, that'd be absurd. That'd be absurd.
That would be nutty. I'd love that.
I could see it. I could see it, because if Zoro is going to accomplish a shit ton this arc, you have to hype up his like end game goal. You know, that can't be underwhelming. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
True.
So that's why I'm pretty confident Mihawk's bounty will be pretty respectable.
I think he'll be respectable. I'm right now. I'm on the 3 to 3.5.
Yeah, I think at least 3.
Yeah,
sounds about right.
Yeah, 3 to 3.5, that kind of range, because you know, regardless of you know the fact that he's alone, there are only 4 people in the world that have a world's title, and he's one of them, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's a big title to have under your belt. So regardless, I think all of those people are of great renown in the One Piece world.
Yeah, if I had to guess, it's going to be higher than Ben Beckman, but probably lower than Shanks.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah,
Makes
definitely
sense.
higher than Ben Beckman.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I think Ben's is really high though, because they emphasize the balance of the red-haired pirates crew.
Yeah, the top 3 commanders are
Yeah.
like the most well-rounded
So,
one.
just by that statement alone, that Ben has to be higher than Keen, probably by far too. Okay, so I think that's gonna do it for episode 12 of the Romance Dawn podcast. Appreciate you guys tuning in. I'll have the link to Keen's channel in the description. Definitely check it out if you haven't already. Keen, appreciate you pulling up, man. Really do.
Pleasure to
It was
have
a great
you, man.
time. Thank you.
Yep, great job per usual, Fiji. I'm your host, Jagan, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode.